All right, everybody, it's July. I'm out at the Lagoon Park in Farmington, Utah for the 4th of July weekend. Join us today on the XP Project. All right, everybody, we're out here for a construction video for July. It's definitely getting warm out here. Crowds are looking great. You know, I would pretty much say like July, like the park is in full swing at this point now. So the district's all up and good to go, so we're not really going to talk too much about that today, but I just want to talk about some of the kind of little things that are going on right now. You know, just maybe stuff that people might not know about, or they maybe do know about. As always with these videos, if you guys can comment, just like, you know, if you work out here, you've heard something, because I don't get all the information on stuff, so, you know, I'm going to give the best information I can and what I see, but if there's something that I missed, please let me know. All right, so I wanted to start out, I'm down here by where the old cliffhanger used to be, and I'm actually kind of surprised by this. They've actually got some rigging in there. They've got a couple backhoes in there and construction equipment already in there. I really am not, I'm surprised at this, I'll be honest with you, because, you know, they just finished the district, and I really thought that this was just gonna be like a little empty area until like the off season, and then they'd start working on it. But they're working on something in there right now. If you have any ideas what this could be, I guess my kind of initial idea was like, I thought that maybe they were just gonna add on to like the beer garden area and maybe have like more seating, or maybe like something that has to do with like that like German kind of beer garden theme. That was kind of my idea, just because it's right there by it. But looking in, it might be something completely different. So if you know anything about this, I mean, this could always potentially be like next year's ride, because I know like traditionally Lagoon always come out with like one new ride every year. So this could be the one. And if it is, I would think we'd probably hear something fairly soon, because they'd be wanting to like hype up next season. All right, so I did want to mention, this was just completely by accident, but I just walked by and they've actually got the Century swings running right now, with those like the like artificial body, the orange body bag things in them. So it's running right now. I actually took some B-roll of it before it was running. I know a lot of you have kind of said that they don't think this is going to be open this year, but it's actively running right now, so that could be a really good sign for Frightmares. I don't think this is something that they're going to like rush to get open, but it's running. So whatever part they were missing, we'll see how that goes. And there is a sign that says that like the ride is in testing mode, ride testing in progress. So fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. All right, so as always, I always want to talk about crowds. So I kind of look at like a lot of places like this are just kind of always busy. Very rarely you're gonna find a day where it's like completely dead. So like the way that I would say it right now, you know, with the holiday weekend, it's busy, but it's definitely not, it's not miserable out here at all. And it's hot, obviously. I mean, you know, we're pushing 90 today, 93. But it's busy, but it's not miserable. Most of the rides that I've seen, I mean, and obviously this is excluding Primordial, because Primordial's just always long. But like roller coasters, like almost a walk on right now. You know, Wicked was maybe like a 10-minute wait. Most of the kids rides right now are fairly walk on-ish. And so really, I don't know, the holidays have been a weird one, because sometimes they're really slow. But I know 4th of July, a lot of people want to spend time with their families and stuff. And so I would assume it probably gets a little slower towards the night when people start doing like fireworks and stuff, but it seems like people have been out here all day today and having a really good time. But like I said, it's not miserable at all. The lines are actually looking really good. All right, so a couple things that I noticed coming just directly into the park today. They've got new benches out front of Terror Ride that look awesome. I really like those benches. The coloring, Terror Ride's color of its logo just is so good. And it's something that like we all know from when we were kids. And I just love that so much. And those benches look really good. And then right behind the benches, they've got this little eating area that's right in front of the Peacock Parlor, and it looks really good. I'm really liking it. It's just kind of, I guess the best way to describe it is it's just like concrete. They kind of made it look a little bit wavy and stuff, and I actually kind of like this a lot. It's just, it kind of opens up this space because, you know, before that was just like a grassy area, and they've still got the grassy areas here behind. But I just, you know, I love seating and tables and stuff. It's just nice to be able to like sit down and have a place to eat, or, you know, whatever. They do have a sign by that one that says there's no outside food or coolers in that area, only food purchased at Lagoon. And I'm kind of curious as to why that is. Just because, you know, they allow coolers and food everywhere else. It could just be a way that they're just kind of wanting you to buy stuff, you know, from the Peacock Parlor or whatnot. So I thought that was a little interesting. But just know, like, you can go sit in that area, but you're not gonna be able to bring your own cooler in. But I mean, there's like 400 other places you can bring your cooler to eat, so it's not anything to really be too upset about. But I do like they've got the little umbrellas. This is a really well shaded area, so you almost wouldn't even need the umbrellas. But they got the Lagoon logo on them. They look kind of nice. One thing I also wanted to mention, I didn't talk about this on the day that the Peacock Parlor opened, but there is the one little building in between here that's called the Atrium. It says estimated 1886. Can anyone give me a little bit of background on that? Because it was 1886 when Lagoon, or was that when Lagoon opened, or what is that? And I you know, that's got to be something someday, because I don't know why they just put a name that says the Atrium, but all it is inside is just, you know, it's just glass doors, and there's just a stairway that goes up. But I remember in the concept art for the Peacock Parlor that they had talked about, like, that it was going to be like 2 levels. So I'm almost curious if maybe that's just going to be like a seating area upstairs or something. If anyone knows about that, let me know, and like why it says that estimated 1886. Is this something that was originally at Lagoon that they're kind of referencing back to? You know, there's a lot of things I talk about that, like, I just really would never want Lagoon to get rid of. And the one thing that I would really say is that splash pad up front. And I don't do a ton of video on that one just because there's a lot of little kids running through it and stuff. But when they put that splash pad in, I don't think they realize like how good that fits in that spot, especially on a hot summer day. Because you walk right into the park and it's kind of a circle there. It's kind of like the center of the park almost, look to it, and I love that they did that. And that's just something I hope they never get rid of, and I don't think they will. It's just a splash pad, but I just love it so much. And on that subject of the hot weather and water, the one thing that's been really disappointing this year is they do have the fountain down. And I know you guys that have watched my videos, like, the fountain is one of my favorite things during the summer, and I'm always bummed when they take it down for Frightmares, because this blue fountain, like, it's actually called the Julian Bamberger fountain. It was presented by his wife to Lagoon for in 1965. I've actually never read that before. That's funny that I just was standing here and seeing that. But it's like one of my favorite parts of the park. I just love that fountain going, and it's a bummer, but it's been down this year. I'm not sure why. It's probably just got some mechanical issues. This fountain's been here forever, but I would assume it's probably not going to be up because they've got to start Frightmares construction. I know it sounds crazy that we're already talking about Halloween, but they've got to start Frightmares construction fairly soon. And it might have just been a year where they said, you know what, we'll get that fixed in the off season, but just watching the Skyride just isn't the same without that fountain. Let's get that fixed. I'm so excited because I just love that fountain so much. All right, so I did want to ask you guys, I know I've mentioned this in a lot of videos, so I do apologize if I mention things multiple times, but I have gotten like a lot of new subscribers, and so I just want to make sure that I'm getting info out to everybody that's new to the channel. If you work out here for the Frightmare season, can you maybe just put in the chat, like, what's the timeline for like when they start like doing those buildings? I'm always just kind of keeping an eye. It doesn't look like too much is going on yet, but I'd love to just know kind of like the timeline of how they do those buildings, and do they do them like one at a time, or do they just start popping them all at the same, you know, all at the same time? And kind of what's the progress? Like, do they take like a weekend to bring in everything, or do they like slowly bring it in? I just, that whole process would just intrigue me so much to know. And you know, again, like I don't mean to like keep saying the same things over and over, but Frightmares is the best time at the Lagoon Park, almost in every aspect, because the weather's, you know, more tolerable. the activities, the price that you get, or the price that you get in and what you get for Frightmares is just so good, because you know, the amount of haunted houses that they have out here, and they change them up a little bit and stuff. It really is the best bang for your dollar to come out during Frightmares. It is the busiest time. That's the only downside to it, is that it's busy. But coming out here when it's nice and cool, like in October, and you just got like a, you know, jeans and a light jacket on, and they got the Halloween music and everything going, there's no better time of the year. So I always get hyped for it, and the next like 3 construction videos will probably be talking a lot about Frightmares. But make sure that if you've only got that like one time to come to Lagoon, have it be during Frightmares. All right, and then speaking of crowds, you know, we were talking about Frightmares. You know, I get people a lot of times asking like, what would be like the all-time best time to come out here crowds-wise? And I still kind of stand by summer during the day is the best time to come, in my opinion. And you know, sometimes that'll trickle into the nighttime too. But like, I mean, it's a holiday weekend right now, so it's hard to say come out this weekend, because it's gonna be a little busier probably. But like next week, for example, after the holiday's over, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, sometimes even Wednesday nights and stuff are okay. But those middle of the week, and especially during the day, I come out all the time during those times, and you can almost get on any ride with absolutely no problem. So that would be my suggestion. And then if you're only talking crowds and that's it, Frightmares is the worst time to come probably. I mean, maybe like opening week or like the closing week, but Frightmares is by far the busiest. But like I said in that little snippet before, it's definitely the best time of the year though. All right, so I did notice last time I was out here and today that the wheel is closed. And it's been closed for a little bit. If you have any info on that, let me know. This seems like it's been one that's been down for a little bit. I'm not at all offended by it. This is like one of my least favorite rides at the park. But I know this is one that a lot of people really cherish and love. And there's like that nostalgic value behind it too. And so let me know if you know like when this is coming back up, or if it's gonna be back up this year. And on that subject, I've talked about this before, but this little wheel right here that's behind me, let me know in the comments if you remember, but this was actually a piece of the little mini golf course that used to be back where like the kids area was. And it was actually a little mini golf thing that you'd hit in, and it would like twirl around like the wheel. And so when that golf course closed, they moved this over here, and I think that's like a little cool Easter egg if you didn't know that. All right, one other thing I wanted to say, I just want to thank everybody so much for watching this channel. You know, I do apologize. I've kind of been chatting with people in the chat and stuff, and letting people know, like, I don't have a ton of time to do this channel during the summer. I do work another job, and this time of the year is our ultimate busiest time of the year at my other job. So right now I'm just running in on the go nonstop. But I do try to get out here at least, like, you know, maybe every 7 to 10 days. But I do apologize that I can't get more videos out. You know, hopefully maybe someday I'll be able to, but I do just appreciate all you guys being along for the ride. And you know, even when I don't have the videos coming out constantly, like, you guys are keeping the chats going, and just, you know, fun comments, and honestly telling me a lot of things I didn't even know about this park. I've been coming here 40 years, and you guys have told me things like that I had no idea about. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So talking about that whole little wheel thing that is that little Easter egg over by the wheel, you know, if you guys know of anything, I would love to hear in the comments, like just some of the Easter eggs that you know, because, you know, amusement parks like to do that. Like, they'll put like little, you know, Easter eggs from things they've torn down or things like that. If you know of any of that stuff, let me know. I'd love to see it in the comments. All right, so another thing I wanted to mention, I think a lot of people already know about this, but Lagoon has a new thing this year. It's called the Family Power-Up. So right when you get into the park where the lockers are, so right, walk into the first entrance, and then just slightly off to your right, there's some lockers. There's a big sign that says like the Family Power-Up, and there's a huge QR code. Scan that QR code. It's a little activity thing. I'm not going to show you guys those. I might do a video like completely just talking about that, but I'm not going to show you guys because they're kind of cool little things. I don't want to spoil it at all for people, so go scan that QR code, and you'll do this little, like, it's basically like kind of like a scavenger hunt. You know, they had the scavenger hunt, and they still have it. You can do it. Go back through my videos. Me and my son did the scavenger hunt, like, I want to say that was either last year or the year before. And there is a fun little scavenger hunt here. I've got a video, just search scavenger hunt in my videos, like scavenger hunt XP project. But I think they took some of those away, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of like the newer, like modern day scavenger hunt the Lagoon's doing, and it's really cool. And there's like kind of like a prize situation. Just like I said, I don't want to spoil it too much, because just bring your kids out here and go through it with them. It's a fun family event. I mean, you can just do it by yourself too, but it's a really fun family event to do, especially if you've got those kind of like younger to mid age children. It's just such a really fun thing. But check that out, and like I said, it's right at the front of the park, so you don't have to like go to the back of the park to start. But fun fact, you will have to go to the back of the park at some point, because at Rattlesnake Rapids, I know that there is one of the stops. So, all right, and then I am going to put up on the screen here kind of just like the upcoming schedule. This is posted right at the very front of Lagoon as well, on a little like billboard thing, like before you walk through the gates. So check it out. But like I said, I mean, we're kind of going to get through summer, and then Frightmare is going to start. And I'm going to put that up on the screen to kind of just, the colors just kind of show you the dates of when the hours are going to change, because, you know, they're not open late during like the school year. Basically, that's like the best way to kind of know the times. I'm going to pop over to the Fascination building, because I want to see if they have the grab bags in, because I want to show you guys those. They're a really good value for some cool stuff. So no grab bags in the Fascination building. I'm going to just quickly hop over to Central Park, because I know sometimes they have them as well. But if they don't, let us know if they are going to get those this year. And on that subject, well, I guess that's on a different subject. It's funny, I'm seeing a lot of people like walking out of Laguna Beach, and they're just like dripping wet, but I bet it feels so good, because like I said, we're pushing like 93 right now. And so make sure you get out to Laguna Beach. I don't film out there just because I'm not like a fan of filming a bunch of people in their swimsuits. But you know, the Laguna Beach Park is completely part of the pass. You don't have to pay extra for that or anything. So, you know, come out, you know, you could maybe like start the morning. Like what we would do is like I'd wear my swimsuit just like under my clothes, or just, you know, like, you know, guys can just wear their shorts, you know. And then we would like come out and like, while it's cool, do the rides. And then like middle of the day when it gets blazing hot, go back there, swim for 2-3 hours, and then come out. And I mean, like, you can stand in the sun, you know, Utah's so dry, you stand out in the sun for like 10 minutes and you're gonna be dry, and then go on rides and just stay till close, you know. And like I said, the one really nice thing is most amusement parks do charge extra for the water park sides, but Lagoon, you just you know, you just show them your hand stamp and walk right on in. They are a little bit more testy with like the food that you take in there. You just can't have like glass bottles and things like that. But you can take food in there, you just can't take like glass bottles in, but you can take a cooler in and stuff. But it's a great way midday to cool down. And like I said, with it being part of the park pass, you really can't lose. So just give it a shot. All right, one other thing I wanted to say too. Thank you so much if you work out here. I've only been out here for like an hour today, and it's just, I don't mind the heat, but it's hot out here. I mean, I've always been one that like, I would rather have it be really hot than really cold. That's just my personality, but I just know like it's not easy working in this kind of heat all day and whatnot. And I'm talking about the people that are at the front of the lines and at the back of the lines, people working on the rides, people working games, and just everybody. I really appreciate you so much. Really, without you, like, we wouldn't be able to do anything here. Like, and I'm starting to see like the park's improving based on the things that have been done to it, and that's all stuff that you guys have done, and I just appreciate it so much. Thank you, and thank you again. You know, I always sit and think about how weird life is. It's like, I'm always looking at this seance building here over by the arcade, and it's like, you know, a lot of people that don't come during Frightmares, they have no idea what this building is, and it's just like this like random haunted house looking building. But it just makes me laugh, because it's like 95 degrees out here, everyone's like sweating in like shorts, and it's like in like 2 short months almost, like it's gonna start being cooler, and they're gonna have like the fog machines and everything. It's just so funny how fast the summertime's going. I remember like when I was a kid, I mean, the summertimes went by in a blink, because you know, you had to be back in school. But it's just so funny to look at that building and think, man, just in a few short months we'll be cooler weather with our jackets on, doing the Halloween thing. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for the July construction video, State of Lagoon play. If you have any questions, drop them off in the comments. As always, I love the communication, the conversation. Chime in if there's anything that you know that's new out here that I've missed. Check out that family pack thing. Thanks so much for everything that you do. Thanks for joining us on the XP project.